Okay, so reading this just pure flippin' brilliance, the collected works of Thomas Gerard. So good. If anybody's ever got in on that action. And it prompted me to really have an awesome lean in for you guys. That is this whole concept of the universal storehouse. Okay. And let me kind of explain what this means. Okay. So I'm going to read one of the works from his book. It's called The Spirit of Opulence. Okay. If we clearly realize, this is a snippet from it, if we clearly realize that the creative power in ourselves is unlimited, then there is no reason for limiting the extent to which we may enjoy what we can create by means of it. Where we are drawing from the infinite, we need never be afraid of taking more than our share. That is not where the danger lies. The danger is not sufficiently realizing our own richness and in looking upon the externalized products of our creative power as being the true riches instead of the creative power of spirit itself. If we avoid this error, there is no need to limit ourselves in taking what we will from the infinite storehouse. All things are yours. And the way to avoid this error is by realizing that the true wealth is in identifying ourselves with the spirit of opulence. We must be opulent in our thought. Do not think money as such, for it is the only means of opulence, but think opulence that is largely, generously, liberally, and you will find that the means of realizing this thought will flow to you from all quarters, whether as money or 100 other things not to be reckoned as cash. We must not make ourselves dependent on any particular form of wealth or insist on its coming to us through some particular channel. That is at once to impose a limitation and to shut out all other forms of wealth and to close other channels. But we must enter into the spirit of it. Now, the spirit is life, and throughout the universe, life ultimately consists in circulation, whether within the physical body or of the individual or on a scale of the entire solar system. And circulation means a continual flowing around. And the spirit of opulence is no exception to this universal flow of all life. When once this principle becomes clear to us, we shall see that our attention should be directed rather to the giving than the receiving. We must look upon ourselves not as miser's chests to be kept locked for our own benefit, but as centers of distribution. And the better we fulfill our function as centers, the greater will be the corresponding flow. I love that. We must look upon ourselves not as miser's chests to be kept locked for our own benefit, but as centers of distribution. Are you hearing this? We are all individual centers of distribution. We all have unique gifts that we are supposed to be sharing with each other. And yet we're like all locked up. Well, I can't share my secret with that person. They'll steal it and make it their own. They can't do that because you live in an infinite universe, which means you having more doesn't actually take away from somebody else either. You have access to this infinite storehouse. When I visualize the infinite storehouse, I like to picture like a big Costco warehouse. Okay, when you go in, anybody has access. You don't have to pay a fee. The fee is service. Okay, Once you serve, you can get in. Okay. And on all the shelves, so like picture walking into a Costco, and on all the shelves, you have, yes, you have cash, but you have a million other things not to be reckoned as cash. Two, you have like unlimited time, you have health, you have relationships that are amazing, you have the car, you have the house, you have the vacation, you have all this stuff. Okay? But you have access to it all. All you have to do is realize that you live in this opulent universe. And you have access to all of this stuff all the time. But when and like it says here, that once we impose a limitation and shut out other forms of wealth and to close other channels, we must enter into the spirit of it. Okay, it's not about doing certain things. It's about doing certain things or doing things in a certain way without any expectation. We were chatting about this in the High Vibe Society yesterday, how as a society, we're into trading. I'll give you this for this. I'll trade you my service for your service. Ooh, I just got it for free. You didn't get it for free. You traded your service. Is your service not worth anything? Right? Like we think that we're getting something for free and we think, oh, I scored. I got this for nothing. There's no such thing as getting something for nothing. You paid for it in one form or another. And as humans, we are meant to work with each other, but we are not meant to be dependent on other people. So if you're depending on free stuff all the time, that eventually will start to wear on you because you're not meant to. It's like you're not meant to live in your parents' basement till you're 80. That eventually will get old too. You think, oh, it's pretty sweet. It's not. You're going to feel it. Unless you're looking at things as temporary. So pay attention to that. Like if you are living off of everybody else's stuff, you're doing that in all areas of your life because how you do one thing is how you do all things. You're not recognizing that you live in a very opulent universe. And if you step in and do things in this spirit of opulence in this certain way, you get access to the infinite storehouse. Like ask yourself, what does it mean to have infinite access to the storehouse? What's that look like for you? Have you ever thought about that? So many people are so busy settling and just going through life that they can't even wrap their minds around. And if you're here, that's okay. You're not alone. Are you having a time wrapping your mind around the fact that you could have infinite amount of anything that you desire? Infinite amounts of money, infinite amounts of awesome relationships, infinite amounts of, you could have that dream car, the dream house. You could have amazing health. You could have access to it all if you enter into the spirit of it. Do things in a certain way. And that way is zero expectation. When this principle becomes clear to us, we shall see that our attention should be directed rather to giving than receiving. And I thought that this was appropriate. We're coming into Christmas in a couple days. We're in the Christmas season. Focusing on giving and having gratitude, that's entering into the spirit of it. That will also give you access to the infinite storehouse. But again, if you're feeling dependent on somebody else to give you money, to give you shelter, to give you everything forever, then you're receiving constantly. That's what you're doing. You're receiving, you're receiving, receiving. And we're not designed for that. Might seem sweet at first, but we're not designed for it. So it will catch up. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So I invite you to go back and listen to this. Listen to those few snippets that I took from Thomas Gerard. Really just close your eyes and pay attention. What does that look like for you to live in a spirit of opulence? What would your life look like if you had access to the infinite storehouse? Well, you do have access to it. You just gotta let yourself in. What would that look like? Cool, right? I promise you, when you start tapping into this, everything gets easy. Easy. It can be so easy. It can be so easy. And pick yourself up the collected works of Thomas Gerard. I know for those of you that are in the High Vibe Society, we are going to be doing a deep dive into this book in the coming year because it's just full of juicy goodness. Really lean into that. What does it look like to have access to an infinite storehouse? And if you can't wrap your mind around it, start. Because you have access to it. You're just getting in your own way. You're kinking your own hose. Picture a hose, right? Water's coming out of it, and then kink it. The water can't come out. Okay? If you're kinking your own hose, living in not enough land, not enough money, not enough time, not enough this. If I have money, then I can't have relationships. If I want relationships, I can't have health. If I want health, I can't have money. I only needed so much of whatever, right? If you're living in not enough land, I want you to tap into this. I want you to unkink your hose because it's just like a pure vein of gold, man, when you do. Deal? Awesome. You guys are incredible. I want you to enjoy your Christmas season. Okay? Like really tap into it and see what happens when you focus on giving over receiving. Like giving, not just gifts, but giving of your time, giving of your positive energy, giving of your attention, right? Busy little bees aren't paying attention. Sit down, clean up later. Okay? You're a rock star. Have an amazing day, you guys. Bye-bye.